So what's up to all my beautiful queens, divas of a more mature age? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here on my channel today. I am the Eva Monroe, and today this video, honestly, I think this video will be, excuse me, a little bit difficult for me to get through at times, but I felt like it was extremely important for me to have a moment of transparency, a moment of vulnerability. Um, Vulnerability is that yeah, a vulnerable moment. Um, so I'm sitting in a different place today, but that's okay. I think the lighting is okay. My sound might not be that great, but we'll flow with it. So I want to talk about how I lost my give up. I legit lost my give up. And I don't like that word. And y'all have probably never even heard me use that word before, but I lost it. Um, so this really goes back to like November for me. When I start feeling different, I started feeling a certain type of way, and I didn't even really know what it was, and I was kind of chalking it up to, yeah, you're just tired. You need a break. I want to go back to 2020 when quarantine began, because I know some people will be like, well, we've been doing this for 2 years. You should be. Honestly, in 2020, y'all were in quarantine. I was not. I was chilling at the house. I was at home. I was living my best life. I I busied myself so much to the point to where I did not even realize that we were actually in a pandemic. And I got to this point to where first I overstressed about it. I was scared to go out. I didn't want to get sick. I'm a hypochondriac. We can start with that. So every time I got this little, I was like, ooh, ooh, uh-oh, uh-oh. So I finally, when, my husband and I decide that I won't be going out anymore, that I should stay home, I came to this point to where I was cool with it. And I was like, you know what? I have so much stuff to do that I can busy myself and I cannot even be worried with this stuff. Um, so I stopped watching the news. I got to this point where I stopped watching the news, and my husband is a news head, okay? So I got to this point to where in the morning I would get up, and if I was going to remain upstairs, he knew that he needed to go downstairs to get his news fixed. If I was coming downstairs, well, he could stay upstairs and listen to 4 hours of nonstop news. And so we start tearing our house apart, right? Like in 2020, we actually redid our bedroom. I made a pantry. We redid the pool area. In 21, I went crazy in my garden. I was busy. I was doing things. I had YouTube. I had all this. And so I was fine. I'm the type of person that I can take going or leave it, right? Because I know how to busy myself. I know how to busy my mind, read a book, take a bath, meditate, playing perfume, arts and crafts, so many ways that I could busy myself. And so sometimes, honestly, like leaving the house would be an inconvenience for me, because I have also worked really hard to create a space that we could have everything that we needed in at home. And if we wanted to get drunk, we can get drunk at home. If we want to party, we got party lights and the party sounds, and we can go out in the garden, and there are different areas that we can go to clear our minds, so that we don't always feel a need to be out in the streets, because sometimes home is just the best place to be, right? So I did all that, and I was good. I was perfectly fine. Like I was losing weight, because I started eating better. I stopped doing so much baking and all that type of stuff, and it helped when my son left too, child, because I wasn't baking so many cookies and cakes and things like that. So in November, I start feeling some type of way, right? And I tell my husband, I said, I'm not well, you know? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, just, I'm in a mental space that's really, I don't feel like it's healthy. I don't feel like it's me. And so, some days my husband don't be husbanding hard enough, and he gave me the typical male answer, that the answer that most men would give, and he said, "Oh, you'll be okay." Right? And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know though." And my husband knows me. He knows me pretty well. I won't say he knows me better than anyone, but he knows me very well. And he knows that he's typically is not going to come home and see me, in a funk. He's not going to come home and my hair is going to be north, south, east, and west every day. I'm going to get up, even if I'm not going to be leaving the house, and I'm going to put myself in some type of working order, right? But there were days happening where that wasn't the case, right? That I didn't do my hair for like 2 and 3 days in a row, or my hair would be in cornrows for infinity and beyond, which is probably why it's like this now, why it grew so much. So I was literally leaving my hair alone, right? No makeup, no clothes, nothing, right? And I would call myself the dumpy, okay, oftentimes. And what I mean by the dumpy is like the dumpers will call me and dump no matter what. And I think that there are very few people in my life who actually, and then when I say very few, I mean like in the 1-2 number range, that will actually check on me. Like say, no, how are you? How are you? Right? But otherwise, majority of the people that are in my life that are close to me, family, things like that, call me to dump, you know. I need, oh, you ain't gonna believe this. Oh, you're not gonna, hey, can you? Oh, I'm getting ready to get a divorce. I'm getting ready, and my husband is honestly no exception to the rule. A few weeks ago, I went over to a friend of mine's house, right? And I was just over there and she and I were talking, because I just needed to talk. I needed some girl time, And so I cannot remember the last time before then that I did not beat my husband home. Like I typically like to make sure that I'm home when my husband comes home from work, right? But this day I was in no hurry to get home. So I came home and it was dark outside, but it's only like 5:30, 6 o'clock maybe. And I saw when I was out that this book that I had been waiting to receive was at my house. It had showed up. So I said, ooh, when I get home, I'm gonna, dig into this book. I've been waiting to read this book, So I come home. My husband's in the bedroom. He's sitting, looking at TV, sitting on the sofa in our bedroom. And I said, hey, how was your day? And he was like, it was all right. And I was like, okay, good. You had a good day? He was like, yeah. Did you have fun? I was like, yeah, I had a nice time. No complaints. I had a nice time. It was good to get away. So I go downstairs, I get my book, I prepare myself a glass of tea, and I get my glasses and I come upstairs and I got book and tea and all that in tow. And my husband says, I sit down and my husband says, here, look through this uniform book and pick me out what you want me to have. Because a few weeks prior to that, maybe probably even a month prior to that, I had told my husband that we needed to get him some new clothes to work in, because I had at one point in time bought him all Levi's, but he has to wash that stuff every day. You can't wash jeans every day. So I was like, we got to do something different here. So he ordered a catalog, and I mean, he literally like, here, and I was like, right now? Right now? And he said, yeah, I want to hurry up and get this stuff ordered, and so I can have something. And I was like, looking at my book and my tea and my glasses, like, yeah, no, okay. I said, and so I said, I didn't really sense the passive aggressive until I had a conversation with someone about his behavior later on, and they were like, yeah, he was being passive aggressive. But I felt some type of way, and I said, well, I tell you what, I said, pick out what you want to wear for a change. You just pick out, well, I don't know what you want me to, and I said, well, whatever you want, whatever you think you're going to look good in, whatever you're comfortable in, pick it out. I want to read my book. Like, I ordered this book 2 weeks ago. This is all I want to do right now, And so it didn't dawn on me until later on that day, or later on that night, that when my husband comes in the house every day, typically some days I'll be cooking, and my husband hits the door and he says, ooh, I smell it. It smells good in here, He has two different ways that he comes home, but we'll talk about that another time. That's the cooking come home and the she ain't cooking come home, right? But he immediately starts dumping when he hits that door. I say, how was your day? Oh, that so-and-so told me that they needed a control board, and I went over there, and then the people didn't pay me, and I got into it with the people and then the prices is going up on the units, and I'm so sick of this, and I'm like, yeah, and did you? And well, what did you say? Oh, honey, don't worry about it. Let it go. It's not that serious. It's only money. It's only time. He expects when he comes home every day to be able to unleash the beast and unload on me. And I soak it all up like a sponge every day, because that's what I'm supposed to do, right? Like, I'm wifey. I'm supposed to be here to listen to all this type of stuff. And then when he's done, he'll say, so how was your day? And I don't really have anything to unleash because, it's quarantine. I'm here. So I'm just like, oh, it was cool, honey. It was cool. I got a lot of work done. It was great. It was great, right? So when I was watching the Miss USA, that just tragically took her own life, suddenly took her own life, I heard someone talking about her, right? And I want to say it was her father, but don't quote me on that. It was a man. And he said, I really don't understand this because she was always on. But let me tell y'all something, okay? Because 9 out of 10 people would say this about me. They would say, she's always on. She's always happy. She's always cheerful. She's always busy. She's not going through anything. She doesn't have stuff that she goes through. She's always on. And because she's always on, I don't need to check up on her. I know she's fine. I know she's cool. Nobody, y'all, is always on. So if there's somebody in your life who you think is always on, if you are a true friend to them, if you love this person, you care about this person, it's your responsibility to check up on them, to genuinely check up on them, because nobody can always be on. We all have an off day. We all have an off day. We all have an off week. We all have an off. We could have an off month. Hell, some of us right now are having off years, And I had to sit with myself, because then things start happening around me that are really, in my opinion, really kind of like tragic type situations, you know, like death. Because to be honest, through quarantine, I didn't really know anyone who actually died of COVID. You know, I knew a few people that, you know, had left this world, but I didn't really know anyone who actually, a lot of people who were actually dying of COVID, you know. Um, and so there was a situation where something happened, you know, to someone in my family. It was really tragic. And then someone in my family passed away. And so I have this way of dealing with death, and you guys have heard me talk about it before, because I started dealing with death at such an early age that it really doesn't shake me, right? I figured out the fact that this thing, life is the dash, right? It's that little dash between the day we show up in this world and the day we leave, and it's our responsibility to YOLO, you know, to go hard on that dash, right? And I understand that. I understand the cycle of life. And when people call me and tell me that, you know, so and so has passed, typically I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, this is so sad. This is so, my grandmother, her death when I was young, it shook me to the core. And then my father, as an adult, has probably been the only death that has really taken me down. And I think that when my father died, I don't even think the people around me understood what that did to me. Yeah, I don't even think that the people around me knew what that actually did to me. But a couple weeks ago, my cousin just suddenly passed away. And that was the first time that I actually, like, I was shook, because I think because she is a constant. You know, she's someone that, first of all, I've known her for pretty much my whole life. Always there. Wasn't, you know, the sickly type, didn't, you know, but just showed up and presented herself to the world in this particular way that I think even my husband, the funny thing about it, like, my husband has only known her for 4 years, and it even like made my husband feel some type of way. That's just who she was, you know? And so that, on top of everything else that I was going through, was like, oh my God, like, not this, you know, definitely not this. So I think that once I sat down with myself and I said, okay, what is going on here? And first I said, okay, you need to talk to someone, right? But what is going on here? And I think that even though I'm fine with not being social, I'm perfectly capable of busying myself, I think that the lack of other people around me, the not being able to travel, not being able to spend time with my friends, you know, when I needed to, not being able to see my family, not being able to, I think that eventually that took a toll on me. Because, you know, I was explaining to my husband said, oh, I would love to be in a situation where I didn't have to leave the house. And I said, no, you wouldn't. Because one day I told him, I said, and I hated to say this, but it was true. I said, I'm just sick of you right now. Like, I'm tired of, you're the only person I see on a consistent basis. And I need to see other people. And he said, I never get sick of seeing you. And I would love to be in a position where I didn't have to leave the house. And I said, no, you wouldn't. Because you go out into the world every day and you get to have interactions with other people, be it positive or negative interactions, whatever they are, you get to have those interactions with other people. You get to express yourself. You get to, while I'm sitting here talking to myself, because I started talking to myself during quarantine, y'all. And his answer to that was, well, it's okay as long as you don't answer. And I said, I think I might be answering myself. Hey, girl, are you hungry? I think I am. What you want to do today? What are we going to do today, Eva? Well, I don't know. it got real for me. And in a way that, and I can laugh about it, but honestly, the main point of this video, what I really want to say is, like, don't be afraid to tell people when you're not okay. And if you tell someone that you're not okay and they give you the you'll be okay, you need to tell someone else. You need to talk to someone else. Because unfortunately, the past 2 years it's been hard for most of us, right? It's been hard for most of us. And many people are suffering with mental health issues. And if you don't get on top of it as soon as you start feeling it, it only gets worse. And you gotta know, women, we gotta know that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to not be on. And you can show people and you can tell people when you're not on. Because oftentimes the amount of weight that we have to carry, the amount of dumping that gets done to us, the amount of responsibilities and duties and the pressure to smile, even when we don't feel like smiling, and perform, even when we don't want to perform, it's a lot. And it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to walk away from some things. And it's okay to tell people, hey, I can't take the dumping today. You have to dump on someone else. Because that is the biggest part of my problem. I worry about everybody. I worry about my children. I'm like, are they staying away from people? I don't want them to get sick. I don't want them to, are they doing what they need to do? Oh, they need this, they need that. I worry about my mother. Like, I don't want anybody around my mother who has been exposed to anybody who has had COVID, because she's not the healthiest. And I don't know if my mother can fight COVID. And I worry about her financial well-being. And I try to make sure she's okay. And I worry about my husband, and I'm worrying about everybody. And nobody's worrying about me. And sometimes I need to be worried about, I need to be worried about. And so it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be on. So things will get better for me. I will get my give up back. I will get it back. I've started to see how things that used to be important to me are not. Like, I just, even perfume. I was telling a friend of mine the other day, because she's asked me like 3 or 4 times, hey, what do you think about this fragrance? Hey, what do you think about it? And I was like, girl, I don't care right now. Like, I got a desk full of stuff that people have sent me. I smell it and I go on with my life. I'm not excited by anything. It's good if I can shower and put on a body spray. Like, I don't care right now. And it's just because there's just so much going on right now, and I feel some type of way, and it'll come back. I feel like another thing that really takes me down is winter. Winter really gets the best of me. And so I have really tried to dig into things that will pass the time for me, that make me happy. But on the other side of that, here's the thing that I had to think about, because sewing has been a thing for me, right? I have fallen in love with sewing, right? But here's the thing for me. I have an addictive personality. It's in my DNA, right? And so most of the people, who have addictions in my family, it's along the lines of drugs, alcohol, things like that. But sometimes I get addicted to things that make me feel good. And when I start doing those things, I will pour all of my time, attention, and focus into those things. And it will be in a very obsessive way, and I will never stop, and I won't do anything else, and I won't think about anything else. And so I have to be in control of that type of stuff, right? So I figured that out about sewing. I was like, okay, yeah, you need to make sewing time, because you can't sew for 16 hours a day, and you can't make 32 garments in a week. So I have to be in control of all that type of stuff. So gardening season is coming soon, and I'll be able to go outside, and I'm really excited about that. I'm an outside person, and this winter has been brutal to me, which has not helped with my mental at all. So, but I see the end. I can see the end, even though I'm looking out the window and everything is white, covered in snow, but I can see the end. So thank you, ladies, so much for listening to me today. I felt like it was important for me to share why you guys haven't seen me as often as you used to. And honestly, what's been going on with me, because I like to come on and talk about smelling good and do wig videos and show you what I've made and show you this and gardening and do that. But it's always so important that you guys see the real side of me, and that you know that I struggle too. I struggle too some days, and it's okay, because I'm okay. It's okay when I gain a few pounds. It's okay when I don't feel 100% of myself. It's okay when I don't put makeup on. It's okay as long as that doesn't go on too long. But I'm just like you at the end of the day. So be well, be safe, and talk about it. Talk it out, because I'm telling you that helps more than anything. So until I see you again, be blessed, and bye for now.